Life can get loud, and sometimes the best adventure is the kind that brings you back to yourself. Today I'm sharing practical, soul-friendly ways to step outside of your usual routine, and why these tiny moments can shift so much more than your schedule. Hey, my friend, as always, I'm so glad you're here. This is part 2 of our series on micro adventures. If you missed the first episode, we talked about what micro adventures are, the science behind why they're so powerful for our brains and personal growth, and how to overcome that natural resistance we all feel when we're trying new things. Today we're getting practical. I'm going to share some specific micro adventure ideas you can try this week for yourself, and I have some fun ideas to do with kids or grandkids. And we'll also cover how different personality styles might approach adventures. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a simple challenge to bring more novelty and fun into your life. Just as a reminder, and if you missed last week's episode number 20, you can listen to it now or later. A micro adventure is a short, local, low-cost burst of adventure that gives you the feeling of doing something different, spontaneous, or meaningful, without having to plan a big trip. It's about shaking up your routine, reconnecting with nature or people or yourself, and saying yes to a little more life in your life. These adventures are perfect for breaking a funk or lifting you out of a rut or changing up the rhythm of your usual routine, boosting creativity and curiosity, creating core memories in small pockets of time, reconnecting you with your own courage. Changing your environment, especially one with beauty or natural light or even just a new vibe, can spark creativity and refresh your focus and realign your energy so you feel more like yourself again. Let's dive right in with some ideas to get you started, and you'll see there are so many different ways to create your little mini adventure. Really, the sky is the limit. I'm just going to toss out a bunch of ideas, and hopefully something will spark an idea for you. Most communities have all sorts of activities and classes available. You could go to a workshop, woodworking, jewelry making, a writing class, a cooking class, a meditation class, or how about trying that Tai Chi class in the local park? Rock climbing at an indoor gym, or a dance class, aerial yoga, that's on my list for this week. How about joining a community choir or a music group? Or you could drop by a senior center to play cards or chat or help with an activity. Even if you've never done that kind of thing before, you probably want to call ahead for that one. Attend a live event alone, a concert, a lecture, or an exhibit, or even take yourself to a nice dinner without your phone to be scrolling on. Just enjoy the pleasure of your own company and the food. Ooh, and how about public speaking at an open mic night? Poetry, storytelling, maybe even karaoke. If you usually work from home, or even if you're just working on a project on your laptop, try mixing it up. Spend a few hours working from a cozy cafe or a quiet corner of the library, or even a shaded bench in the park. Just changing the scenery, even slightly, can shift your focus and spark new ideas. I love doing this. Sometimes I just want to go do writing in a different atmosphere, and it makes a big difference and changes up my day. And every quarter I have a CEO planning meeting over lunch with just me, myself, and I, and my notebook, and whatever ideas want to show up. That's a fun little micro adventure, and it's productive. And somebody else is making my lunch, which is always a bonus. Sometimes it's just saying yes to something spontaneous that you'd normally overthink, like joining a friend's plan at the last minute. You don't have to love it, but just trying it opens up new possibilities. Here are just a few more simple, accessible ideas. Do a full digital detox for a day. No screens, no pings, no checking anything. Go off the grid for real. Instead, just let the adventure be whatever happens when you're fully present in your own life. Or hike somewhere you've never been before, even if it's only a mile from home. Try a new trail, or even just explore a neighborhood you've never spent time in and take a walk without a set destination. Make sure it's a safe neighborhood, of course. And this one is really fun. Be a tourist in your own town. Pick an attraction or 2 or 3 that you've never been to, something you've never done in your own town or city, and go enjoy it, solo or with a friend. Something I used to do when I taught aerobics years ago, at the end of each class, I'd share a little tip of the day. And one time I challenged everyone to just buy one fruit or veggie that they've never tried before from the produce section next time they go grocery shopping. And oh my goodness, the responses were amazing. These women came back saying, I had no idea how many things were in the store that I'd never noticed before. Just because they had to look beyond their usual grocery list, they started seeing the produce section in a whole new way. For them, it was a super low-pressure adventure that got them looking beyond their ordinary boundaries. Oh, and by the way, mine was bok choy. And actually, I don't think I've ever had it again since then. So something like that is really small, but that's the point. It's not about where you go, it's about how you go. Now, micro-adventures aren't just for grown-ups. Your own personal micro-adventures are a valuable reset, but you can also share the experience with your kids or grandkids. In fact, they're a great way to connect with the littles in your family. Whether you're a parent of small children or navigating teenagers or spending time with the little ones in your extended family, mini adventures can be a way to shake up routine and create really special memories together. You can always visit a new park or playground that you've never been to. Even just going to the garden section of like a Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot to see what's blooming is really fun. It's super fun for kids. Let the child pick out a plant to bring home and to care for, hopefully. And that's a really fun adventure for a little one, but I think that's a fun adventure for me too. So something like having an indoor picnic dinner on a blanket in the living room, that's fun. We used to sometimes get Chinese takeout and do that. Oh, have you ever tried geocaching? That's fun for grown-ups and kids. It's like a real-life treasure hunt using a free app and GPS, and you follow clues to find hidden containers like in parks or neighborhoods. So your kids get to practice noticing details and following clues and exploring the world with a sense of curiosity. Some even have tiny trinkets that they can trade. It's simple, fun, and it's full of discovery. I feel like I keep saying this, but it doesn't have to be a big outing, just something a little different done with intention. It can be simple, but ideally it feels like something more special than just an errand. Don't complicate it. We're aiming for a small activity that helps you see the ordinary in a new way. When my youngest daughter was about 15 years old, I felt inspired to start a thing with her, and I called it Wednesdate. So when I'd pick her up from school on Wednesdays, we'd go have a little date together, just she and I. She's almost 8 years younger than all her other siblings, so she was the only one living at home at the time. Mostly she chose what we'd do, and sometimes I did. And this was before I knew the concept of micro-adventures, but every week, that's actually what we were doing together. We'd do things like try out a new smoothie place or get pedicures, go to a yoga class, go on a bike ride, sometimes a movie. We both love thrifting, so hitting a thrift store to find treasures was always fun for us. We went to the library a few times. We both love a great bookstore, so we'd do that once in a while. One time she came with me to my plant-based cooking class. Her favorites usually involve spending money, and mine were more about having time together. Thankfully, we found a great combination of both. And I'll be honest, those Wednesdays weren't always smooth sailing. Like many moms of teens, and I have a feeling someone listening might be in that season right now, there was a reason I felt impressed to start those little weekly adventures with my girl. I was doing my best to build connection during a time that came with its share of quiet car rides and teenage eye rolls. But we both kept showing up because we knew it mattered, and I'm so glad we did. Because sometimes the connection is immediate and sometimes it takes a little while. But either way, the seeds are still being planted. These days, that connection is really strong. And I know those Wednesdays played a part in that. So mamas and grandmas too, micro-adventures might seem small, but don't underestimate them. They will create space for connection, laughter, and understanding that can leave a lasting impact. They're your quiet superpower. It's important to note micro-adventures aren't one-size-fits-all. Your personality plays a huge role in what feels exciting versus overwhelming, and recognizing this can help you choose adventures that actually energize rather than drain you. If you're an extrovert, your idea of a micro-adventure might involve social exploration, striking up conversations with new people, attending community events solo, or joining a pickup game at the park. The energy of human connection fuels you, so adventures that put you in contact with others will often leave you feeling refreshed rather than depleted. For my introverted listeners, your micro-adventures might look completely different, and that's perfectly okay. You might prefer solo explorations like trying a new hiking trail during off hours, visiting a museum on a quiet weekday, or just experimenting with a creative pursuit in the comfort of your own space. The key is finding adventures that challenge you without overwhelming your social battery. And for planners, those who love structure and preparation, micro-adventures often work best when they're intentionally scheduled. My sister-in-law, for example, created a list of local restaurants. She has the list in her phone, and every Friday she and my brother go try one. And sometimes it's a new place, sometimes it's a favorite repeat, but it's a great way to break out of the same old, same old. And they've tried a lot of new places to eat that way. So if you like having a plan, try penciling in 3 small, doable adventures for the next month. That could mean signing up for a one-time class that's totally different from what you usually do, or watching the sunrise from a pre-planned lookout spot, or brace yourself, visiting a farmer's market without a shopping list. I know, but sometimes planned spontaneity is the best kind. And I'm aware planned spontaneity sounds like an oxymoron, but it's actually a legit concept. When something's scheduled, it's more likely to actually happen, and that little shakeup can bring new energy and fresh perspective. And speaking of spontaneity, for spontaneous personalities, the ones who thrive on variety, curiosity, spur-of-the-moment ideas, micro-adventures often happen without much effort. You don't need to plan ideas. You are the idea. But here's the challenge. Instead of skipping quickly from one fun thing to the next, which, trust me, I totally understand, try slowing down just enough to really enjoy the moment you're in. If you live somewhere with a bus, a ferry, a metro, or a tram system, hop on it and ride it all the way to the end of the line just to see what's there. Let the adventure unfold without needing to control it or rush past it. Micro-adventures aren't just about finding the next exciting thing. They're also about being fully present for the one you're in. Now, for those who tend toward caution or simply prefer the comfort of the familiar, your micro-adventures might start very small. Maybe it's heading to your local library and spending time in a section you've never explored before. Or finally stepping into that quirky little dress shop or art supply store that you've passed by many times but never went in. The size of the adventure matters less than the willingness to try something unfamiliar. The great thing about understanding your personality type is that it helps you customize your approach. Instead of forcing yourself into adventures that feel wrong for you, you can choose challenges that honor who you are while still gently expanding your horizons. So embrace your personality and let it guide the kinds of micro-adventures that will enrich your life. It's so fun to become a more expansive version of yourself. Okay, let's talk about the impact of micro-adventures on your personal growth. Every time you take a tiny risk, you're actually training your brain to become more resilient and adaptable. You're telling yourself, I can handle this. I'm okay with trying new things. Over time, these small steps add up and you start to feel more confident, more open to change, more likely to see possibilities where others might see obstacles. It's just like building a muscle. Each little adventure strengthens your possibility mindset just a little bit more. Here's something I've seen in my own life and with my clients. People who take these little risks regularly start to believe in their ability to handle bigger challenges. They're more open to opportunity. They're less afraid of failure. Why? Because they've practiced it. They've trained themselves to see change as exciting rather than scary. So how can you bring micro adventures into your life this week? Here's a little challenge. Choose 1 or 2 small things to try. Something that feels just different enough to give your week a little shake up. You can pick from the ideas I shared earlier in this episode. And here's the super fun part. After you try one, take a minute to reflect on how it felt. What did you notice? Did it shift your mood, your energy, your perspective, even just a little? Keep a small journal or jot down a note in your phone. You might be surprised how even the tiniest change can make you feel more alive, more on top of things, more centered, and yes, of course, more adventurous. Thanks for joining me on this 2-part journey exploring this topic. I hope you let yourself have so much fun this week, trying out some little adventures for yourself that are outside of your norm. Until next time, keep looking for the good, stay curious, and keep shining.